Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. It's a challenge for many, whether you're a man, a woman, even a child, hair loss. Found somebody that offers solutions upstate New York in the Albany area, and solutions and also wigs as well. And we're going to learn a lot today from her. Valrie Alexander joins us. Hey, Valrie, how you doing?
Great, Steve. How are you?
Real good, real good. This is something that challenges many people, and I hear the term medical hair loss, and then I wonder what that means. I think hair loss is hair loss. Maybe there's a medical reason, but can you explain a little bit deeper what that term means?
So medical hair loss is determined by a medical professional. So that could be a dermatologist, that could be your primary care doctor, or you could see a trichologist, which I am a trichologist. So I can go in and analyze your scalp if you're having, some shedding going on or some patches, and determine what type of hair loss that is. So that's what medical hair loss is.
Okay. So when we talk, you mentioned determine what type of hair loss it is. What are some different types?
So one in particular that affects more African American women is called CCCA. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to give you the whole name because I can't barely pronounce it. But it is a condition that affects us primarily, and it involves, the shedding of hair, the patches that you'll receive, the tenderness, the itching, and it's like kind of like a fungal thing, but it causes, it like takes the skin and it heals the skin where no follicles can grow. So the follicles are not able to produce anymore because that skin is damaged.
Gotcha.
There's other types of, men pattern baldness, there's woman pattern baldness, there's a whole host of them. So
Yeah. Wow. Happens at any age too, right?
it does. The youngest client I have seen, and she has alopecia totalis. And alopecia totalis is when you lose the hair of majority of part of your body. So eyebrows are gone, eyelashes, the hair, the skin on your arms, the hair on your arms. And she was 6 years old when I met her. And it was a pleasure to work with her and her aunt. I was able to design and construct a medical wig for her. So we're on our third one now. So yeah, there are children who do suffer from, medical hair loss.
So when we talk about hair loss treatment, what is actually treatable and then what would not be?
All right. So anything hereditary probably would not be treatable. Anything such as, I would say, when you get like burns to the head or damage to your scalp, it could cause the scalp, like I said, to like heal itself, but heal itself so much where the follicles can't come out, and start that process, that hair growth process all over again.
So do you offer treatments where it stimulates the growth of hair? And, if that's possible, what has happened factoring those situations you just referred to out where the follicles, it can't happen.
Yeah.
How does that work where things like Rogaine and that's old school, you have
People
other
still
treatments
use
I
it.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So
Yeah.
there's a whole host of topical treatments that people use to try to regrow their hair or minimize some of those flaws that they are having. But generally, I go about it with a multifaceted, holistic approach. So we would go in, we would do analyze your scalp, see what's going on. Maybe you got a lot of sebum buildup. So we can go in and cleanse that with the solutions that we use. And then we apply another topical that kind of soothes the scalp and gets that blood flowing. But when we talk about the blood flowing, we use a red light therapy, diode, yeah, laser. And that is what is ultimately giving us better results, is when we use that laser, that goes in, that creates, it helps with the blood circulation to get those follicles, you know, the nutrients and things that they need.
I'm hearing more and more about red light therapy for many, many different things. What can you tell us about that?
Um, put me on the spot. So
I just even how it works.
yeah, so what you would do, well, it's used to stimulate the follicle. So you're going to sit under that light for about 30 minutes. And that's after you've gotten your treatment, your wash. And within that 30 minutes, you're going to, after I get done with my clients, I like to massage their scalp. So with that red light kind of going in, helping those follicles get the nutrients they need. Also, you know, massaging gives stimulation to those follicles as well. So I like to go in and massage so we can get things moving and opening up.
Wow. So I'm learning here that it's really about the stimulation of the follicles.
Yeah.
Everything
And
that we do.
yeah, but also we have to think about what we're taking into our body, because that can also affect our hair. And our hair is the last thing our body wants to help. We have all these other major organs that, you know, the body needs to tend to before it gets to the hair. So, you know, there's certain types of deficiencies people have where they need supplements in order to raise certain types of levels where they're deficient in, maybe not enough magnesium, maybe, you know, not enough iron, maybe somebody, you know, suffers from different disorders and things like that, and diseases that can affect your hair. So it's all about what's going on inside, that we're able to heal that first, and then the body will naturally go to the hair and make the hair more healthy.
Wow. Would you say it's advised even before you begin the process that somebody has some labs done so they can see where there might be some deficiencies?
Yeah, definitely. So what I do is I recommend my clients go to their doctors and get them to run some labs for them so we can determine if they do have any deficiencies, so we know how to approach it. Because it's not just the red light, it's not just the topicals and the shampoos and conditioners, it's also the nutrients that we're lacking that contributes to that hair loss.
How did you get involved in this, Valerie?
So I myself suffer from alopecia areata, and I suffered since the age of 15. So it was very hard for me emotionally, you know, growing up as a kid, going to school and people making fun of you. Everybody has hair flowing down their back. And I got to say, I grew up in the majority of white neighborhood, and there was only about 5 Black families where I lived at. So it was very hard for me. I was kind of casted out from both sides, you know what I mean? But as I got older, I started finding solutions for myself. I started making myself wigs. I started putting in my own weaves and things like that. And then I started the business in 2019, making custom wigs, selling hair extensions and things like that. Um, and then I came across a woman who was doing a cranial prosthesis training that's for medical wigs, for those medical hair loss patients who are going through chemotherapy or are in the final stages of hair loss where they don't have any hair and they want to regain, you know, their self-identity. So I did that. I also recently acquired my associate trichologist certification. And that's where those treatments come in. I've learned so much about hair loss. I was always interested in anything that I do. I always, if I find something, I'm looking into it, I'm researching, trying to find solutions for other people. that are going through the same things that, I've been going through for a while now.
Wow. You, I very much respect that you went through it and you're helping others. And there are many people around the world that do what you do, and that's all good. They take it from a different angle. You
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah,
You get
definitely.
it. Wow. So we mentioned wigs briefly. Let's go a little bit deeper into that. Tell
Mhm.
us about the process when somebody gets fitted, what you can do, maybe what you can't do.
Yeah. So when someone comes and, is inquiring, we schedule a consultation. And usually I like those consultations in person. And right now I'm kind of traveling, so I go to the client's home. I just to give them more privacy. So I go to their home, I ask all those demographic health questions and things like that, just so we're not using any materials that may affect them. And then we do molds, and I take a mold of their head,
Yeah.
and I use that to construct the unit. The client has two opportunities to view the unit before accepting a unit, so I can make those alterations if they want. And then I start, before that, I start constructing the unit and do that part. But there's also another aspect of people who have insurance that cover those types of units. I am able to kind of guide them through the process of getting reimbursed, or I can submit those claims myself to the insurance company to try to determine if, what their deductibles will be. Some people get 100% that the insurance will pay. Some people may have to pay 50, some people may have to pay 20, just depends on their insurance.
So I wasn't even aware that insurance covers that. What I don't, you're not the insurance company. There's many of them.
Mhm.
Basically, what can you tell us?
So I know in New York State, it just recently, the law just passed where these alopecia was going to be covered under Medicare and Medicaid, and also those units for those individuals experiencing, that type of medical hair loss. So medical insurance do cover it, especially for those persons going through chemotherapy, um, because they already know with that radiation that they're going to be receiving that the hair is going to start to come out, and we need to put them back whole. That's the insurance company's job, put somebody back whole, and they cover that service.
I am shocked. I really am, because there's so many things that insurance companies don't cover or minimally cover. In your in your experience,
Mhm.
do most insurance companies cover a fair amount of wigs?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Woof. Wow.
Yep. All you need to do is, call and see what those benefits are. And they'll let you know if you're covered and if you have to pay anything out of pocket. Yeah, since when the pandemic started, a lot of people were going through so many things. And, stress causes hair loss. And because that was one of the, symptoms of, going through that, the insurance companies are more willing to accept that it could have happened because of COVID, or, or
Right.
something. So yes.
I think that's fantastic. I have no words. Usually, usually it's the situation where you're complaining about the insurance company. They only cover a little bit of something. So and wonderful that they do, because it's not just vanity, right?
Mhm.
It's psychologically important for somebody to feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm glad, bravo to the insurance companies, finally,
Yeah.
something that does make sense. Wow. Um, when you said that a client gets to look at something that, you've designed or, put together for them,
Mhm.
is it physically that, or do they see, a rendering of it?
No, they see exactly what they're getting.
Wow. Wow. And
Yeah.
what can what can somebody do? Like let's say make changes on something.
Just reach out. I'm able to repair wigs. I can replace the hair on a wig. I can, if it's some people lose hair. They have hair when they get the wig, a little bit of hair when they get the wig, then all the hair is gone. So that wig is shifting. If they really love the wig and don't want to purchase another wig, then I can make those alterations to,
Wow.
um, fix it. And I do give out loaner wigs, in case somebody, can't hold a day
Hmm.
without having that. So,
Wow. All right. Learning a lot here. What goes into the repair of a wig?
so a lot of wigs that have a material called lace, are on those wigs, and they get holes because of wear and tear, putting it on, taking it off. Maybe you're pulling, the hair too much. There was a kink in it and you combed it too hard. So those holes in there, I can go in and fix that hole and then put more hair to kind of cover it and bring it back to its original state.
What's the lifespan of an average wig?
Well, my wigs, the lifespan is 2 to 5 years. I've had wigs for 5 years. I make my own units. This is a unit that I'm wearing now. Um, and I use quality hair. I import directly from the source. I don't try to go through any middlemen. But although I am looking at partnerships with some other companies, and I just feel like for quality, we need to go to the source. We don't need the middleman because you don't know what you're getting. I import directly from India. So I use raw Indian hair. And some people are cautious of that because they think that people are getting swiped off of the street and their hair is getting cut. Listen, there were stories on this.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so we use ethical sourcing. We make sure that these things aren't happening. And I asked to kind of tour the facility, whether that be, well, for me right now, it's on Zoom. So I look at the standards of where they're making these units and ensure that my customer is going to get some quality hair that's going to last, that.
Are they do they start with one color and
Mhm.
then the hair and the wig is dyed? Is that typically how it works?
Yeah, so the hair that I purchase, or procure, I would say, is like a dark brown hair. So that hair has to be altered to make it resemble that of that person's desired color. So whether that's darkening it, but most people want it lightened. So we do highlights. It looks, we try to get them as close to the client's desired color.
Wow. I've never talked with anybody about this. So
Oh.
yeah, definitely learning a lot here. Education involved. How do you keep it looking fresh? Like, are you washing it like
Mhm.
you're washing your own hair? Is it washed on your head or you remove it? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so I wash it like it was my own hair, although I don't have it on my head. So it
Okay.
would be me taking it off and washing it in a sink or a bathtub and conditioning it and all the good things. And then I put it on a mannequin head,
Okay.
to dry under a dryer. But when we get more into medical, we use medical adhesives. And those medical adhesives could, adhere to the head for 3 to 5 weeks. So a person could potentially, most people do, wash their hair, with those units on, like it was their own hair.
Amazing. So if you needed to get that adhesive freshened up, they would just go to you.
Yes,
Hmm. You think of it this way, 3 to 5 weeks, a lot of us get our hair done, once a month.
exactly. Routine. Yep.
Yeah, routine. Wow. Um, how does the process start? Somebody reaches out to you. You're located in the Albany area. They would
Yeah.
reach out to you, and
Mhm.
then you discuss what they're looking for, and then you could literally go to their home.
Yes, I literally go to their home, although I have to mention, I will be opening up a space so people can come to me. And I know a lot of people don't like other people in their home.
Mhm.
So it tends to be a barrier. So I want to have a space where people feel comfortable coming to. But generally, if a person reaches out, if they reach out by phone, we have a brief conversation about what's going on, what they're looking for. Then I go into directing them to schedule a consultation. And that could be done on my website, powerbeautyunlimited.com, or, I do it over the phone for them. I just put it on my calendar. And then I would go out to the home to do the initial consultation with them.
Do you find that the majority of your business is wigs as versus, let's say, hair loss treatment?
I think they both equal because you
Yeah.
can still get hair loss treatment and have a wig.
Okay.
Um, yeah, some people just don't feel comfortable and want to see those results before they come, wear their natural hair. But I would say generally the hair loss treatment is going to be the one that people are looking for.
I detect that you truly love what you're doing.
Yes, very much.
Yeah. It's got to feel so good and gratifying when you prepare a wig for somebody. It's exactly what they were looking for. They put it on, see themselves in the mirror. You can see it in their face. How does that make you feel?
I'm overwhelmed most times and I usually shed tears just because I know how I much I've changed their lives. Because some people like they break down with me because it's life changing. You
Yeah.
think that you're lost and there's nothing more you can do, and you continue to suffer. And I just want to let everybody know you don't have to suffer. There are solutions, there are treatments that you can get to bring back, what you've lost.
And it looks so realistic. That's the mind blow of all of this. Um, I think we have a certain perception that, well, it doesn't look
Yeah,
real, but
yeah,
there's so much, you can do. But you're not just somebody that fits your clients with wigs. You're an artist. I have to say it.
thank you.
There's a level of art involved in that. Um, People who style hair, they're artists as well.
Mhm.
You're doing that and also providing the hair, and that's not easy. There's a lot
Yeah.
involved in just that alone. Then the styling. Um, Super cool. How do we find you? What's the best
So
way, Valerie?
yeah. So the best way is to reach out, powerbeautyunlimited.com, if you're interested in a consultation. Go through the website, see if anything resonates with you. Or you can call me. My number 518-290-7557. I'll be happy to answer any phone calls that you have. And even if you just have questions and don't want to schedule a consultation, I'm always here. And I like to educate people on, what's going on and how they should proceed to kind of get that what they're looking for.
Yeah, love it. Thank you for the education today. Like a breath of fresh air for so many that are going through some
Thank you.
challenges. And I appreciate you being here.
No, thank you, Steve, guys, for having me. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to
have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.